Really proud of our team. It's a hard-fought game, and we had one like that a week. I mean, all of ours have been like that. Holy smokes! Hawaii and Oklahoma and Buffalo here, and it's a hard-fought game. I was really impressed with Buffalo's team. They're very athletic. They're big and physical. Um, I don't. There's be hard to argue that guy's not one of the best football coaches in the country. I mean, he's won a lot of games, and really they've done a great job. I think our guys just executed really well today. We had a big play on the kick block, and that made a big difference for us. And we just were able to sustain some drives most of the day. And in the end, that's really what we want to do, is try to keep it away from the other team. And that quarterback, their receiver didn't play. We frankly a little bit relieved. He's a really good player, and just able to come out with a victory, and is one we needed desperately.
Coach, what were you thinking after the first couple of series? They score quickly, your offense is off the field and one on a 3-and-out. What are you thinking?
Here we go. We're going to be in a dogfight all day long, and we've had our backs to the wall before. I mean, we've had teams score first on us. Hawaii scored first, and Oklahoma scored first, and I think that's maybe what our guys do well, is not flinch. They just play the next set of downs in the next series, and don't look back. And so we did a good job of that today. We got our backs to the wall again with going after the punt block and getting a roughing call, and we got them off the field. Would have been a chance for them to make it 10-0 or 14-0, and we got them off the field, and that was a big stop for us.
So your defensive acts really came up big in those opening defensive series, really changed the direction of the game.
They did a good job, and there's a good core of veterans in that group, and Max Regan's playing as good as he's played since he's been here, and that's fun to see a guy come up through the program like that. But Gibby and Jalen and Riley, I think he's having a great year, and hopefully he'll continue to improve and get better. And we've got Mike Reynolds playing a lot of snaps. He's a senior, so there's some guys there that have played, and you hope by this point in their career that they will be the guys that go out there and make plays.
When you're able to make a few big plays with Patrick Gaines, score on an 80-yard kickoff return after field goal return, how does that just kind of help overall with the offense you run?
That gives you a little breathing room, and you don't have to. It's hard to protect guys that are pass rushing. I mean, they got guys on scholarship, and they got some good players. And I was impressed with how physical and how good their effort is out of that Buffalo team, watching them in the 4 games that we were able to scout them on film, and then watching them today. A great example to me is a team where we scored that last touchdown, and their defense still rushed the kick like they were trying to block the kick. That's just one play that you can look at, and it's an indication of how bought in their team is and how hard they play. And Lance has done a great job. He's a great football coach, and what being able to get some big plays does is give you a little breathing room. You don't feel like you've got to go 16 plays, 19 plays, hammering it 3 and 4 yards all the way down the field. It's hard to do. And when you can get a big chunk play in there, it makes it a lot easier.
They didn't convert very many third downs or fourth downs. I think they were 2 for 11, something like that at one point. What did you do well in that facet?
I think the guys just got underneath some of the routes and probably made it a little bit difficult for him to hit some of the intermediate stuff. He took some shots and threw the ball down the field. They hit some, but for most of them were hitting the ground. We didn't let them connect on those, and we talked about that going into this week, how good they are at completing those balls. They completed one for us against us last year for a touchdown. So I thought that was a great job by our defense. Their offensive line, what an incredible job they're doing. He didn't get sacked today. 5 games without getting sacked. That's really impressive. And they took care of him and allowed him to throw the ball. And he's a terrific quarterback. He's just the way he throws the ball and how much poise he has back there. And like I said, when he gets time, he's got a chance to throw it a long way. And fortunately, we were just kind of right where we needed to be on most of them.
He ran for a long score against you guys last year and really hasn't been running since the end of last year. Does that change the way you defend him at all?
It did. It did change it a little bit because they haven't been running him as much. Frankly, I think he's a really good runner, and I'm a little relieved that they didn't kind of dust that off today. But he's so valuable to them in the passing game. It's there's some risk involved there where you run that quarterback, and he gets vulnerable to getting tackled and rolled up, and I'm sure they're different when he's not in the game.
And Coach, on Kelvin, he got intercepted on his first pass attempt, but then he came out 4 for 4. He had the big play to Cam Harrison, and then the touchdown to Jordan in the third quarter. Just describe a little bit of Kelvin's game.
Well, the third down pass was just a clear, a dig, and a drag underneath it, and he held on to the ball a little bit long, and the drag route pulled the play side safety, the field safety, over to that side where we were trying to throw it, and he got under the dig. He made a great play. It was a great catch by their kid. And the thing about Kelvin, much like I felt Ahmad was, it was a strength for Ahmad, is just his poise, and he doesn't get rattled. He doesn't come over to the sideline and put his head in his hands and sulk and worry about it. He just goes on. And I think a lot of that's probably because he saw Ahmad Bradshaw be able to handle adversity like that the last few years, and he's just continued to get better. And it seems like each game, as we get going in the game, he settles in more and just kind of gains some confidence as the game goes along in the game plan and what we're doing and what defense the opponent is settling into, and so he did a good job. They changed up the defense against us. They had a couple different looks to the unbalanced. They got in an odd front a couple of times, which they've never done against us. So they gave us some wrinkles, and I thought he handled all those really well.
How about the three fullbacks, Darnell and Connor and Kalen? They all were productive. Is that a sign the offensive line was creating holes for them?
I think the offensive line was doing a good job. Those guys were running real hard, but everybody's involved in that, the slots and the wide receivers, and we're getting those guys on linebackers and sometimes even on the defensive linemen for those slot backs. So I thought everybody really, played hard and did a good job, especially on those short yardage situations.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We were talking with Kelvin about you were able to get the running game going today. I hope each of the fullbacks really was able to contribute. Tell us about your role today.
Yeah, I mean, the OC is always saying that we want to start with the fullback because it opens up the rest of our playbook. So the offensive line took good control of the front right there, and we were able to establish the fullback, Connor, Kalen, myself. It's all due in part to the offensive line really getting a great push.
Maybe you could speak to that, the role the offensive line had today, opening holes, both on the dive play and then the outside options.
Yeah, no, I love our O-line. I think they're getting better and better every week. They're really stepping up the game, no matter what the situation is. So I think they are their biggest strength is getting push on the D-line. And that obviously opens up holes for us. And then once that is established, the defense has to close in on the fullback, and it allows alleys for the slots and quarterback outside. So I think it all starts with the offensive line, no matter what, if we're going up the middle or outside.
You just talked about Kelvin. He's very humble, but he was making plays, making a lot of third down, fourth down plays. Just talk about his play. Yeah,
he's gained a lot of confidence since the start of the season, and I think it helps him a lot, helps our offense a lot. He's not scared to go in there and run the ball, and then he can also pull up and throw. So, I mean, he's very versatile, and it helps our offense a lot.
How does it help your offense when you expect the defense to be able to score on a big play like that?
I mean, it makes everything easier. I really think Coach Munkin says that we should be able to score in any asset of the game. So I mean, when the defense or special teams can take control, it just takes pressure off the offense, takes pressure off the team. So I think that's really good for our team.
Thank you.
How's it for you playing back in upstate New York?
It's always good to be close to home. I mean, I have family here, so it's always good.
Where are you from?
Binghamton, New York.
Flow drive where the defense came up big, stopped the drive. You had a couple of big defensive plays. All the defensive backs really came up force the Buffalo receivers outside. Tell us a little bit about how the defense played that drive.
Coach Bateman always does a good job with the game plan. So he always has us in the right place at the right time. The guys in the secondary, the guys in the front, the guys in the middle, everybody did a great job of executing their assignments. And in the secondary, Mike, Vari, James, and Jalen, they just did a great job of making plays on the ball.
Did you feel like you were able to execute your game plan really after that first drive where it went so quickly? You were able to then execute your game plan after that?
Mm-hmm. We obviously made a mistake on the first drive, but we recuperated quick. Coach Bateman, got us together, said get our heads straight, and we just kept it pushing.
And okay, got to ask you about the field goal block. It was blocked, and then tell us about what happened when you saw the ball on the field.
It just landed right in my hands. Tuga did a great job of getting to the ball. The D-line got a great push. And it landed in my hands, and I just had to run. That's all.
Maybe just ask you how you felt coming off the Oklahoma game, having a good performance today.
The Oklahoma game was in the past as soon as we got on the bus. It was Buffalo from then on out, and we couldn't let anything from that game linger going forward. We couldn't let it beat us twice.
Do you have any questions?
I can just ask you, how did you guys approach covering Johnson, 83? He's been one of their leading receivers, but was a little banged up coming in today.
He didn't get that many reps throughout the game. He's a great receiver. He was one of our key guys coming in. Him not being on the field, I think, affected them a little bit. But they still have a great receiving core. Guys were still making plays on the ball and stuff. But we were able to execute what we had to do to get the win.
Thank you.
Performance here today. Tell us a little bit. You had an interception your first drive, and then how did you come back from that? You had some, you went 4 straight pass completions after that.
Coach just talks about not flinching and things like that. So, when things don't go your way, you can't get down on yourself. You got to go back out there and play for your teammates. And you got to understand that, you can't get upset over the mistakes you make because there's a bunch of guys that count on you. And especially at quarterback, you got to be able to bounce back and face adversity and recover. So that was kind of my biggest thing, just, letting it go and getting out there and playing for the team and understand that there's guys counting on me.
And you made a bunch of big third down plays, and I think you were 4 for 4 on fourth down plays. What was the key just keeping the momentum on those drives?
Just to go at them. We had an attack, and we know that they have an explosive offense, so we just want to stay on the field as long as possible. So when we got into those situations, we knew that we had to get that first down to keep our defense off the field and keep drives alive and put points on the board.
How did those passing plays fit into your offense?
It's just part of the game plan, and we play within our strengths. So we're going to run the ball, and we know that, and that's what's going to happen. Teams know that. But once we see something in a team or something that they're doing on defense where we can exploit in the passing game, that's going to happen. But we're going to run the ball, and we're going to establish things at the line of scrimmage first, and pass plays are just going to happen.
When you get a big score on special teams like that, what does that do to lift you guys as an offense? You usually score on pretty methodical drives.
Oh, it's awesome. When you get an explosive play from the defense or special teams like that and they put points on the board, it definitely makes your job easier. We get to sit on the sideline a little bit longer, get some more water. But, just knowing that, we can score in different parts of the game. It's not always on us to score. We want to score every time we get on the field. But knowing that, defense can make plays and put in the end zone also is a great bonus.
Kelvin, you got the fullbacks going today, Darnell and Kalen and Connor. How did it feel as the fullbacks were able to make the dive play work?
Oh, that's where our option starts, just getting that fullback going, getting the line of scrimmage moved. The Mob, they were really big on getting the fullback going all week. That was something that they really talked about and wanted to do. So just to get that fullback going and get some confidence within Darnell and them knowing that, they can get 4 or 5 yards a pop, at any time that they wanted to. So that was as big as far as, moving the line of scrimmage and getting on schedule early in drives.
Tell us a little bit about the pass play to Jordan in the third quarter.
It was just something we practiced. It's a base play for us as far as passing goes, and it was just part of execution. Jordan ran a great route to get open. The O-line gave me great time to make it happen. So, it was just something that we do every day in practice, just a play we practice all the time. So it was just execution.
You ran, I think, 25 straight plays, running plays before that. When you come to the line knowing that pass play's called, do you sense the defense isn't really expecting that pass?
I wouldn't say that. You know, a lot of defenses know that they got to play keys when they play against us because things like that can happen. So it's not that I think that we got them with one or we caught them, because you know you got to expect them to be fundamentally sound and know that, hey, we got to play the keys and know what's going to happen. So it's just going out there and executing and you know, trusting the play call. I feel like if they call a pass play, that means that they've seen something. So just for me to go out there and execute and complete the ball.
Thanks, guys.
Ball, and then we had Elijah Riley come off the edge, and the ball went right to him and immediately took off down the field, and it was just a great team play all around.
Tell us a little bit about the second drive for Buffalo when you were able to make a bunch of defensive plays as a unit and stop that drive and take away the momentum.
I think on that drive we were really settled into the game atmosphere, and we knew what to expect. We had a great plan coming out. The coaches did a great job, and so it just really showed in that drive there.
Would you have a particular defensive play? Buffalo obviously had a good quarterback and a good offense. What was the kind of plan going in?
We knew that they had a good tall quarterback who had an arm who could go downfield. So just to try and limit them as much as possible going down the field with big plays, because they really opened up early on against a lot of teams.
How does it feel coming off the Oklahoma game to come out here and get a win on the road?
It's a great feeling. It just shows that everything, all the work that we've been putting in, over this summer, over the first couple games, it just shows that throughout the entire time we're ready to go each week, and we're ready to show the teams that we're playing against that we're ready to go.
Thank you.